She said that the first step was there was like and they would have to do would be her and the escort.
And that was the jaw dropper that had Diddy spiraling in court like his entire soul just got subpoenaed. Cassie took the stand and proceeded to describe these darkroom torture sessions that sound like something out of a horror flick produced by Satan and sponsored by Bad Boy Records.
Now, step 2, she alleges, is that's when all the baby oil comes out.
But babes, step 3, even nastier, and step 4, let's just say, you might want to watch this with holy water on standby. In this video, we're breaking down Diddy's courtroom breakdown, the NSFW details of these freak-off rituals, and how this might just be the nail in the Gucci coffin. Let's get into it. Okay, so court is in session. Cassie walks in, pregnant, calm, and ready to unload 10 years of trauma like it's a deleted season of American Horror Story, Bad Boy Edition. She sits down and says, Diddy had an actual 4-step system for what she called the dark room sessions.
She says that, it was very well choreographed. Like, it was almost, when she was describing it, I was like, it sounds like he was shooting a music video.
Executive producing.
No, for real.
Step 1, descriptive foreplay, which basically means Cassie had to sit there and narrate what the male escort was doing to her out loud, like she was recording a NSFW podcast for one listener. Mr. Combs, seated in the corner like a demon in Dior.
So that first step was the descriptive foreplay, and then step 2 was the touching.
Step 2, the baby oil extravaganza. Cassie said she and the escorts would get lathered up every 5 minutes. Why? Because Diddy allegedly wanted them to look like shiny suits. If you thought the slip and slide was a childhood memory, think again. When the feds raided his properties, they found over 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lube. That's not skincare, that's wholesale inventory for Satan's sauna.
Oh, she said that the first step was there was like and they would have to do it would be her and the escort, and she would have to talk out loud and describe what she was seeing.
Step 3, oral. And here's where it gets darker than a Netflix doc voiceover. Cassie admitted she would rush through it just to get it over with, because she didn't want to be there. She was only doing it to keep Diddy from doing it with someone else. She wasn't turned on. She was trapped, manipulated, coerced, broken.
She just was doing it because she was so in love, and she said she didn't want him to go and do it with anybody else. Now, step 4 was the actual intercourse where they would engage in,
Step 4, intercourse. Sometimes Diddy joined in. Sometimes he just watched silently from the corner like a ritualistic referee. And if they were comfortable enough with the escort, he'd jump in. This wasn't intimacy, it was orchestration. And then, oh baby, came the freak-off finale.
She said that they would oil up so much. That was like a big thing for Puff, allegedly. Like, you had to be oiled, that every 5 minutes they were like just re-oiling because
he wants you to look like a shiny suit.
Yeah, because it glistens, and I guess it's the sexiness of baby oil.
Cassie testified that Diddy would make her take the male escort's results.
She said that a lot of times after they would finish, the escorts would have a happy ending, and Puff would make her take that happy ending and rub it on his nipple, and then they would engage in whatever they were going to do, just Cassie and Puff allegedly.
So his man milk on Puff's.
That's what Cassie's alleging, that that Puff liked her to rub it on his chest and on his nipple.
Yes, man milk is what they actually said in court, and rub it on his chest, like some kind of sexual skincare routine. Hold on. We need a moment of silence for whoever had to transcribe that in court. This woman said it with her whole chest, while his legal team probably tried not to spontaneously combust from shame. At this point, the courtroom wasn't just silent, it was gagged. Even Diddy's family members were crying.
So chocolate-covered nipples with a semen drizzle.
Yo,
Glaze.
Shut up, man.
And glaze, we have to say glaze.
And Diddy? He was visibly shaking, thinner than usual, pale, nervous. Man looked like he just met the ghost of career past. But wait.
And we've heard this story, but she said that, because we heard before that there were extra linens because
It's dookie on the sheets.
So what she said was she was actually made to have freak-offs during her period, and so there would be blood on a lot of the sheets.
Because the male escort also testified, and what he said added more plot twists than a Black Mirror Christmas special. According to him, Cassie invited him, not the other way around. She opened the door wearing red lingerie, heels, dark glasses, and a wig, allegedly saying, "My husband likes to do special things for me."
She felt vulnerable because he had shared this secret of these voyeurisms and freak-offs that he liked to do. She didn't want another woman coming in and swooping up in her place. And a lot of times she alleges, and we saw actual text messages they brought up where she tried to tell him she didn't want to do a freak off.
Diddy was apparently in the corner wearing a bandana and hat like he was in kinky witness protection. Escort says he and Cassie got it on while Diddy sat in silence and handled himself. He said he recognized Diddy by voice. Because duh, he's been hearing that same voice on remixes since 1997. But then, another twist. That same Escort said he couldn't perform anymore after allegedly witnessing Diddy violently beat Cassie at her house for taking too long to return to him during one of the sessions. He saw the abuse and couldn't continue. So, even though his version of events contradicted Cassie on the setup, he fully backed up the claim that Diddy was physically abusive, controlling, and had people scared into silence. But the crown jewel of this courtroom saga? The video. CNN drops a bombshell. Surveillance footage from a hotel hallway, March 2016. We see Cassie trying to leave. Diddy, wearing a towel, runs out, grabs her by the neck, and drags her down. Throws her, kicks her, and then drags her limp body back toward the room. No editing, no music, just pure, unfiltered brutality caught on camera. It wasn't, he said, she said. It was, he did, she flew. Diddy's response? A carefully worded apology video. He said he was in a dark place, sought therapy, found the light. Sir, this isn't about healing crystals and sage. This is about a felony caught in 4K. And if you're still watching with your jaw open like I am, hit that like button before it dislocates. Because what comes next is legal Armageddon. So, after the court spilled more tea than a Real Housewives reunion at altitude, the world went into full shock mode. Diddy, looking like he aged 17 years in 17 seconds. Thin, pale, shaking in the courtroom, asking the judge if he could go to the bathroom like a middle schooler with social anxiety. And his legal team, wheezing. Because at this point, the prosecutors were rolling in with receipts longer than the CVS scroll from hell. They weren't just coming for his freedom. They were coming for his legacy, his businesses, his entire empire. So here is what Diddy's facing. 1. Racketeering conspiracy. That's right, RICO charges, like the mob. 2. Sex trafficking, multiple counts. 3. Transportation for prostitution. 4. Obstruction of justice. And let's not forget the literal kidnapping charges after he allegedly pulled up with a gun to his ex's new man's house because she was taking too long. That's not jealous boyfriend energy. That's Tony Montana with a midlife crisis energy. And how did his legal team respond? With the wildest defense spin of the decade. Yes, he was a trash boyfriend. Yes, he did some awful things. Yes, you're going to hear disgusting audio of him yelling and abusing women. But then they added, but he's not guilty of trafficking or racketeering, just emotional terrorism, and that's not technically illegal. I'm sorry, what? That's like saying, sure, I burned the house down, but I didn't steal the microwave. Make it make sense. Meanwhile, Cassie, giving Queen energy. She broke the silence, launched the lawsuit, and got it settled in less than 24 hours. And yes, that fast settlement was sus, but it cracked the dam, because right after that, victims dating back to 1991, accusations ranging from abuse to trafficking, forced labor, bribery, blackmail, underage grooming. One of the alleged victims, a 9-year-old. We're not talking scandal anymore. We're talking serial predator allegations with Netflix miniseries potential. And then, Lil Rod enters the chat. If this were a reality show, this is the part where the screen goes dark and dramatic music plays. Because Lil Rod wasn't just a random accuser, he was Diddy's actual producer, the man who helped craft the Love album and thought he was working his way to a Grammy. Instead, he says he was groomed, drugged, blackballed, assaulted, and unpaid. Y'all? He dropped a 73-page lawsuit that reads like Eyes Wide Shut meets Saw IV. He says Diddy made him film everything, was constantly surrounded by male escorts, narcotics, and guns, promised success if he played along, and turned his Miami mansion into an initiation chamber from hell. The wildest part? Lil Rod says he has over 100 hours of footage showing all of it. Guns, drugs, assaults, trafficking, celebs. Imagine having the entire HBO series worth of receipts, but you're broke, blackballed, and in hiding, and you just know Diddy's PR team was in the background chewing ice and sobbing into vision boards. But wait, we're not done. Because then, Derek Cardelou Smith, yes, a prison inmate, sued Diddy for sexual assault from 1997 and won. Not because the case went to trial, but because Diddy's team didn't even show up to court. He won by default, from prison. This man is doing 75 years for kidnapping and still managed to hit Diddy with a $100 million default judgment. That's how messy it is. Even the inmates are collecting W's. And while you're watching this unfold like a telenovela directed by Ryan Murphy, hit that subscribe button. We've got more drama than Diddy's legal inbox. And what about his brand fallout? Baby, his honorary degree from Howard, gone. NYC key to the city, snatched back like a bad lace front. Business partners, sprinting away like roaches when the lights come on. The man went from mogul of the millennium to do not associate in under 30 days. And you already know the Twitter girlies and TikTok sleuths are dragging him through Hades. Memes, brutal, clips, viral, fan edits, unforgiving. The top comment on one of his old videos now just says, "Not him telling us to vote or die, and now he's fighting for bail." Like I said, the internet never forgets. And it definitely never forgives a baby oil cult leader with God complex. All right, so Diddy's in jail. The baby oil warehouse has been raided. His legacy? In the ICU with 0 visitors allowed. But the real question now, can he come back from this? Short answer, baby, no. Because this isn't just public scandal, it's a career-level extinction event. You don't recover from trafficking accusations, violent assault caught in 4K, and 100+ victims lining up like it's the BET cypher. Let's start with PR cleanup, which at this point is less damage control and more pour bleach on the wreckage and run. Diddy's lawyers are out here doing emotional gymnastics worthy of an Olympic medal. They're literally arguing, yeah, he did some toxic stuff, but that's not the same as being a trafficker, okay? And my personal favorite, this is evidence of infidelity, not sex crimes. Sir, be so effing serious. This isn't you cheating on your girlfriend at Nobu. This is an alleged decades-long freak cult that ends in felony charges. He's also claiming he was gonna turn himself in. He's being targeted by white prosecutors and that the man milk ritual was consensual. Someone please remove his mic. Meanwhile, they offered to put him on house arrest in his $48 million Miami mansion, ban all women from visiting, except his mom and baby mamas, give up his private jets as collateral for bail. The judge said, no thanks, he's staying where he belongs, hell on earth. Yes, that's the actual nickname for the federal jail he's in. It's so bad that federal judges refuse to send inmates there anymore. And now Diddy is stuck with no pillow, a half-inch mattress, a plastic chair, and 3 feet of walking space from billionaire boardrooms to barefoot in lockup. That's not a downfall. That's a free fall into the Mariana Trench. Oh, we're not done. Because this story has layers like an onion dipped in acid and rolled in court subpoenas. Let's talk about the ritual claims. Gene Deal, Diddy's ex-bodyguard, came forward saying Diddy was allegedly performing initiation rituals involving full moon sex parties, spiritual sacrifices, midnight, man-on-man ceremonial freak-offs. I'm not saying this is officially cult behavior, but if there's a robed man named Brother Combs chanting at midnight, I'm out.
People who believe in the cult was looking for that moon on 12/12 at 12 a.m. And they were doing spiritual rituals at that time.
Gene also claimed on the 3rd day, they'd drink, party, be merry, and the men would have sex with each other.
They paid homage to certain sacrifices and homage to certain idols. And on the 3rd day, they would drink, party, be merry, and the men would have sex with each other. If you don't believe it, look it up for yourself.
Hello? Is this a trial or the pilot for American Horror Story, Bad Boy Records? And then comes the Flavor Camp flashback. Remember how Diddy mentored a 13-year-old Usher? Yeah. Well, Usher said publicly, it was wild. I stayed up later than him, but no, I wouldn't send my son there. Wouldn't send his son there. that no had repressed trauma in it.
It was curious. I got a chance to see some things.
Yeah, but you were 13. What were you seeing?
I went there to see the lifestyle.
Right.
And I saw it. And it was, but I don't know if I could indulge and understand what I was even looking at. It was pretty wild.
Fans went feral in the comments. He's laughing, but you can see the pain. He got passed around by the industry. It still haunts him. And then we get Lil Rod's alleged blackmail evidence. According to court docs, Diddy filmed everything. Why? To control people, to blackmail them, to silence them. Rod's 100 hours of footage allegedly includes celebs, executives, drugs, weapons, possibly minors, and a gang initiation party for elite men. You didn't hear it from me, but the internet is saying the Bohemian Grove boys might want to lawyer up too. Even Justin Bieber was allegedly caught in weird old footage of Diddy promising 48 hours of fun when Biebs was like 14. It's on video. It's online. It's giving grooming allegations. And while Diddy's team yells unfair, the feds are already 3 steps ahead. They've interviewed over 50 witnesses, seized dozens of devices, found deleted hotel footage, collected bags of pink powder during his arrest, some tested as ecstasy, linked him to distribution of unregistered firearms. They've got him from every angle. He's not just going down, he's being excavated. And let's talk industry reaction, shall we? Everyone who used to ride hard for Diddy? Crickets. People he helped make famous? Not one free Puff post. You know it's bad when not even Kanye wants to co-sign you. And when 50 Cent, who has zero chill and starts going told y'all eat mode on Instagram, baby, it's a wrap. We're watching a full legacy implosion. This isn't a he'll bounce back situation. This is a you'll find his name redacted in textbooks type of ending. The man said, "Can't nobody hold me down." Now the federal government said, "Watch this." So, what have we learned today, class? When you build your empire on shiny suits, sex parties, surveillance footage, and spiritual nipple rituals, the karma won't just circle back. It will show up with a RICO charge and 1,000 bottles of lube in evidence bags. Diddy went from bad boy for life to federal defendant with no bail to alleged cult leader who kept more baby oil than CVS. And as the court cases pile up, the footage leaks, and more victims speak out. It's clear this isn't just another celeb scandal. This is the final season of Diddy. There will be no comeback tour, no rebrand, no NFT redemption arc, no Love Album Part 2. Because once you've got hundreds of hours of freak-off rituals allegedly caught on camera, the only thing left to drop is your soap. And look, I'm not saying Diddy's finished, but if we ever see him again, it'll be as an opening scene in a Netflix true crime doc titled From Billboard to Cell Block, The Diddy Files. So yeah, if you screamed even once during this video, if you clutched your pearls, gasped for air, or texted "Girl WTF is happening" to your group chat, then you already know what to do. Hit that subscribe and binge the rest of the chaos over on Gossip Goblin, where the tea is boiling, the receipts are color-coded, and the cancellations are chronic. Because baby, we don't just spill the tea, we drag it across the floor in court-approved evidence bags. See you in the next scandal.